Okay, my question, I'm 60 years old and I'm still hung up on my root family. I've had to really overcome a lot of painful stuff in my childhood, and I was told that from a long time ago from a psychic astrologer that my mother and I have gone rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds karmically. She gets me, then I get her, then she gets me, and I believe she has gotten me this time. And
well, first of all, that couldn't possibly be true, because when you make your reemergence into non-physical, you leave behind all that stuff. So nobody takes it with them and then seeks revenge in the next lifetime. That never, ever, 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 ever happens.
That's a relief.
But what does happen is that you're standing in a place you don't want to be, and you can't make sense of why you're there, so you make up stuff to explain it. So your desire to justify being in a place you didn't want to be evoked that explanation, which couldn't possibly be. It defies all of the laws of the universe.
Okay, so I don't have to worry about that.
Well, we're not saying that you won't, because you've got the habit of doing it.
Okay, it's my understanding that we come back and we attract souls that we have worked with before.
Let us tell you something for sure, because understanding means what's beneath where you stand. In other words, so we want to give you a basis that is solid, that you can step into easily. Think about how many reemergences into non-physical, into that pure positive energy, and you come back as clusters. But think about what your intentions are coming back. 100% of the time your intention is to provide opportunity for one another to have joyful expansion. It's never revengeful. It's always uplifting in nature. Now, we're not saying that it doesn't go squirrely, because people get focused in ways that in other words, the squirreliest that it gets is that life causes you to really want something that you won't let yourself move toward. And people do that all the time. But there is not some ongoing pattern of revenge from lifetime to lifetime that you're trying to compensate
because
for.
I've spent a long time pretending and trying my best to make sure I'm doing my part so that I don't have to interact with her anymore. Why did I choose her? How could I have chosen her?
Because she was an avenue into physical experience, and that's what mattered most. And because you knew at the time of the choosing that all you needed to do is get here, and that life would take care of the rest of it. This is what goes wrong for most, and it's certainly true in this situation too. But it's not uncommon. Almost everybody lives some degree of this. You ask other people to replace your own inner being. That was this thing that we were talking about earlier. I want you to like me, and so I will modify my thoughts about things so that we can be harmonious, which means I will try to be your inner being, or I will try to get you to be my inner being, and I will seek my compatibility with you, other human, when that was never your intention. Your intention was to find harmony with the broader part of you, and then let everything else take care of itself. Are you hearing what we're getting at? So the worst thing that a mother can do for a child is to do so much for the child that the child never has to come into touch with his own guidance system. So he never knows whether he's satisfied or not. All he knows is whether he's satisfying his mother or not. Which means if she's yelling, he needs to try harder. If she's not satisfied, he needs to try harder. And over time, he can talk himself out of even looking for alignment with source, even though his entire guidance system is based upon whether he's in alignment with this powerful attraction-based focus, which is his inner being, and himself. Doesn't that make the most perfect sense to you? Can't you really feel how that is? And so, keep asking your questions, because you're getting closer to really getting what we're saying.
I guess the biggest question I have is, how on earth could I have inhabited that woman's body and been her daughter and been so mistreated? And the only thing I can think of is because I love my dad so much and I always wanted to protect him.
Here's the thing. So we started this seminar for you as we were talking about how something could happen 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
It's still happening.
It doesn't matter how many years ago it is. Of course it is, because you keep telling the story.
No, because she's still mean.
Well, she's still mean and still active in your experience because you continue to tell the story. You feel trapped with someone, but you're not letting go of it. And we acknowledge this is too big of a thing to let go of all at once. This is the hardest thing for you to let go of. And so that's why we want you to find other things and decide satisfying or not, satisfying or not, satisfying or not. And once you've showed yourself that, and once you've convinced yourself that you are choosing satisfied often, therefore you're in the receiving mode often, therefore ideas are flowing to you that are panning out, that are giving you what you want, then if you want to, then you might be able to take on some of the bigger issues. You don't have to. If you could never think about her again, you'd be just fine. But you've got patterns of thought that won't let you not think about her. So you've got yourself trapped. You can't stop thinking about her, and the thoughts that you're thinking about her have you in separation from your inner being. And it's the separation from your inner being that you're so mad about, not your mother. So your thoughts have got you separated from who you really are, from all the love and clarity and power that is you, and you're blaming it all on her. And she's doing the same thing to you.
Yeah. And I've been listening to you for a long time, and I remember Jerry saying that his mother wasn't as mean to Jesse and the others, so he knew that he was evoking something that caused her to mistreat him in, the way he felt.
You know what he was evoking and what you're evoking?
What?
Clarity.
Yes.
A desire to be your own person, a desire to make your way in this world, a desire to find your true power, a desire to be able to find it unconditionally no matter what else is going on. You're not still needing your mother for sustenance or for survival. You could let that relationship go. It was never meant to be that eternal thing, that forever thing in this lifetime anyway.
Okay, good. So I don't have to ever concern myself about that again.
But here's the thing. First of all, you can't go cold turkey. You're not going to just suddenly stop thinking about it. And next, you can't get to where you want to be by just cutting those ties altogether.
I've already cut them.
No, you haven't. She might as well be sitting on your lap.
I agree 100%. You're absolutely right. But she cut all ties with me a couple of months ago and ordered me out, told me I wasn't welcome, give the land back.
Ordered you out of where?
Gonna work. Yeah, because I was there to protect my dad from her abusiveness and get him safe. And I stayed there and got him safe. And she ordered me out. Get out! You and I are never going to work. We've never worked. You've always run from me. And so
Is she wrong?
Pardon?
Is she wrong?
I've always run from her because she's always been so extremely abusive.
So when she says get out and your inner being says get in.
No, I was happy to leave, and I'm happy I never have to go back.
But you're not happy. You're not happy to leave. You're hateful to leave. You're furious to leave. The action doesn't matter. It's how you feel that matters. And everybody, if they were following this and watching a reality TV show of it, or even just listening to what you're saying, everybody would understand why you feel like you do. In other words, you're not unjustified in any of this. You just can't get to where you want to be in the way that you are approaching it. And so we're not asking you to call somebody who's not lovable. We're not asking you to forgive her. We're not asking you to forgive yourself. We're not asking you to even look at something that needs to be forgiven. We're asking you to acknowledge that from the relationship, a whole lot of desire was put into your vortex that you are denying with every thought about her. That's why this feels so big. And that was the agreement that the two of you had. You see, if somebody called you on the telephone and said, hello, you don't know me. I'm just calling to let you know that I'll never call you again. You'd say, all righty then. But if someone you really care about says that to you, you would feel some strong discord. So the point that we're making with that is that there's a strong bond between you, a sort of eternal one that goes something like, let's go into our physical experience and let's not feather each other's nest, and let's give each other the opportunity to find their own alignment without depending upon each of us to do it. But you've taken it to such an extreme. We'll tell you something that we think would be even worse than the life you lived with your mother. Ready for it? A mother that is so attentive to you that anything you want, she just rushes in and provides. She just rushes in and makes sure that you've got it. So contrast doesn't mean that much to you. There's never a gap for you to figure out how to close. Somebody else is just taking care of all of that for you, just feathering your nest to the extent that there's no possibility for you to ever get any satisfaction, because as quick as you want it, she finds a way for you to have it. And so you never have that opportunity of your life giving you something new and you finding a way to line up with it, which is what invincibility and autonomy and that feeling of joyous success is. You see, that would be far worse.
I'd like a little of
But
it.
that's not, well, you're a comedian too, but that's not what most of the world would say. Most of the world would say a mother like that is an angel sent from God, and a mother like you've got is a demon sent from the devil. And we say, nobody's sending anybody anywhere. You are creating your own reality. So when you bump up against things, we acknowledge that it would be nice if you could meet up with someone like us who knows all of this stuff and can give it to you earlier in life before you've suffered so much, because when you suffer, you practice the thoughts that make you suffer. And that's why we keep saying to you, nobody expects you to just give them up all at once. But you are the perfect example of someone standing in a wretched place that you don't deserve to stand, and knowing with every fiber of your being that life should be better for you. It should have been better for you, and it should be better for you now. And you can't for the life of you figure out why you would be standing here, because you've got this vortex that's calling you in such a strong way toward love and ease and flow and clarity. And so the logical thing is just to look back at that and blame it again and again and again and again, while you nail your own feet to the floor, because you can't change her.
She says that. Ain't nobody gonna change me, Carlene.
And what you want to say back to her is, it's not your change I'm working on, Mom. It's my own.
Yeah, definitely.
It's my own. It's my own. I want to appreciate you for the contrast you provided and for the desire that you and I gave birth to. And now I'm going to do my best to get out like you suggest and to focus in the direction of who I really am. But you're not going to find what you're looking for as long as you're blaming her. And you know, the blame that you feel for her, we even like it. We do. And this is why. Because the powerful, everybody in the room felt it, the powerful revenge or hatred or whatever you want to call it that you feel toward her is nothing more than an indicator of how much this is calling you and how terrible it feels to you to not go.
Okay.